Hello and welcome to this healing session for the balancing and activation of the throat chakra. And it's particularly relevant to our current transition that we're going through as a collective, as it speaks to truth, authenticity, belonging, and the freedom to be ourselves. Also, perhaps difficult communication when we feel misunderstood and perhaps judged. This is the fifth of a 7-part free chakra activation series. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive and benefit from the full series. These sessions will support you to release stored emotions trapped in the body, regulate the nervous system, and utilize the circulatory system to bring oxygenated blood and awareness to areas of the body-mind. So throughout this session, I will invite you to hold areas of the body to support this focus. So I invite you to get into a comfortable position, either sitting, reclining, or lying down. And we'll just start by taking 3 nice deep breaths into the belly. Nice, deep, expansive breaths into the front, the sides, the back of the belly. And with every out-breath, an invitation to release, relax, and let go. Letting go of any tension. You don't need to hold any tension anywhere in your body, really giving yourself permission to let it go, if only for this moment. Letting go of any stress and emotion. You might like to take a couple of nice deep breaths, breathing out through the mouth, consciously breathing out any surface tension, stress, releasing it with the out breath through the mouth. And then I'm just going to start tuning into the group energy field, asking for the most beneficial session for the healing of whoever listens to this either today or in the future. And the first thing that I'm picking up is the throat chakra, which is what we're working with. So if it's comfortable to do so, if you're lying down, you might like to just place your hand over the throat area to start activating this energy. And we're actually working with a superpower. We're actually working with something that's developed in the majority of the listeners today. And that is authenticity. And it's something that we're working towards, that we're growing towards. And it's becoming a power for us, that speaking our truth, speaking from who we really are, that deeper level, that connection with spirit through our voice. And it seems that there's a belief that standing in the road of this becoming fully empowered, you know, like a really strong superpower. And the belief that's coming up is, I can't take in life. So it's almost like how you can visualize this is not being able to breathe in life fully, not being able to take that in breath that allows us to receive. So, you know, if we're in that authenticity, it can be more about that giving, about that, you know, speaking our truth, about that, you know, outward breath in a way, you know. So we can't really be fully empowered in that authenticity unless we're able to really receive, to take in. And that can be, you know, on all levels. It can be with the in-breath, it can be from life, you know, the goodness, that nourishment from life, but it can also be kind of the current planetary energies. You know, we're being bombarded at the moment, and there's this sense of, I can't take any more, you know, I'm full, and it actually blocks us off then. So this sense of, you know, taking in life, and that in-breath going, you know, from the abdomen right the way through the core of the body into the throat, so that we're kind of receiving on a very, very deep level. We're then going to the hippocampus, and this is a part of the brain that's associated with memory. And what's coming up for the group today is belonging. So, you know, if we've got memories about perhaps being on the edge, about perhaps not belonging, not fitting in, you know, this can, you know, probably from childhood memories, this can affect our ability to give and receive, which is what we're working with here. And that ability to be authentic, you know, because perhaps we feel, oh, if I say this, people will judge me, people won't like me, you know, I don't belong, and I want to belong, so I'm just going to keep quiet and fit in and not be authentic. So we're working with the memory of this stored in the hippocampus, allowing this to clear as we activate the throat chakra to become more authentic. So that's the whole balancing for this part. So I invite you to hold over the throat, and I'm just going to start the energy balancing, supporting you to shift this energy today. So some nice deep breaths. And we're balancing the throat chakra on all levels, body, mind, spirit. So that physical healing of the throat area, because often we have a lot of stored emotions, stored physical energy, you know, things get stuck there when we haven't been able to speak authentically in the past. So we're clearing the throat chakra on a physical level, emotional level, but also on a spiritual level. So as we start to work with the throat chakra, just taking some nice deep breaths, letting go of the belief, I can't take in life, knowing that this belief system is not who you are, it's not serving you. And as best as you can, letting this go, breathing it out, letting it go, and then focusing on that in-breath, breathing in life, fully receiving. So there's that flow of giving and receiving that enables us to step into our superpower of authenticity. We're just going to balance the hippocampus now in the brain around memories of not belonging, not fitting in, not being able to be authentic because of fear of the repercussions of that. We're just going to try and clear all those memories from the hippocampus and balance the hippocampus on all levels so that it can start to relate to authenticity in a different, more helpful way. Okay, so that part is complete. So I'm just going to tune in again and see what else I'm picking up from the group energy field today. And what I'm being drawn to is the water element. So we're looking at this from a Chinese medicine point of view. So the water elements is one of the 5 elements of the body mind. And the aspect that's coming up is the bladder. So I invite you to place your hand over the bladder if it's comfortable to do so, which is just above the pubic bone, right at the bottom of the abdomen there. And the bladder, you know, relates to our reproductive system. So this is very interesting for me because we're working with the throat chakra, and you know, the pair of the throat chakra is the sacral chakra, which is all to do with this, the reproductive system, the reproductive area. So it's interesting that we're balancing the throat chakra today by working on the water element, the bladder, which is all about expression and the fear of expressing ourselves. And really the bladder supports us to overcome that fear. You know, the bladder can be very much about you know, the expression is being pissed off. You know, we can store a lot of anger there, and particularly anger at a spouse or you know, partner in that way. So we're working to balance the bladder so that we can overcome our fear of expressing ourselves. And then we're linking that into the throat, into the authenticity again, into that throat chakra. Because if we're fearful of expressing ourselves, it's all going to get stuck in the throat and we're not going to be able to be authentic. So we need to work to link those two things together. We're then working with something quite structural in the body. And this is the cervical thoracic joint, which is just at the base of the neck. There's kind of, if you feel down to the bottom of the neck, there's a vertebra that kind of sticks out a bit, that's more prominent, that's you know, as you go into the sort of shoulder area. And that's the area where there's this joint that's meant to move. But again, like our authenticity can stuck, this joint can get stuck, and this can affect our ability to speak to the truth. and also our ability to give, because we're kind of locked in, as it were. So this is the whole picture that we're going to be working with. So you can hold the bladder, and let's hold at the back of the throat over that joint. And we'll work together to unlock that joint, both on a physical level, but also any kind of energy that's got stuck there. So let's start with the bladder. So some nice deep breaths, supporting the bladder to come into healthy expression, to overcome our fear of expressing ourselves. Connecting into the throat chakra. So I'm holding over the front of the throat chakra, and you guys are all holding over the back. So we're supporting the front and the back effectively of the throat chakra, as well as the joint. To support the throat chakra to come into authenticity, which we're really needing. We're really needing at this time, you know, rather than following. It's a time for us all to come into our own power of expression, the power of our voice, the power of who we really are on a deeper level. So we're then connecting this to the back of the throat chakra there. I'm just working now to just unlock this joint. It's meant to be able to move. You might start to feel the tension clearing, maybe in the jaw as well, so that we can start to unlock the jaw, so that we can start to speak the truth, speak our truth. Okay, so this part is complete. You can relax your hands. And now I'm just looking again to see what's the next priority to be balanced today. And we're going to the thalamus, which is part of the nervous system, a part of the brain. It's like a relay station for the brain. Everything goes through it. I like to think of it as Grand Central Station. And what we're looking at here is rhythms and motivation. So those rhythms can be breathing rhythms, which we've kind of worked with earlier, you know, this idea of breathing in fully, digestive rhythms, menstrual cycles, you know, it can be lots of different things, but it's linking into the adrenals. So my sense is that it's about that. The adrenals can tend to get quite stressed and burnt out. So we're working with motivation here, but also bringing in the wisdom of the adrenals, so that we can come into healthier rhythms. You know, it's that sleep-wake cycle. You know, if we're in stress, if the adrenals are fully activated in stress mode, it's very hard to regulate those rhythms in a healthy way. So we're working with the adrenals, the wisdom of the adrenals and the thalamus to help balance this. It's then linking into the reproductive system, which I spoke about earlier, in terms of how that reproductive system relates to the throat via the pair there, the sacral throat pair. And we're looking at our legacy, you know, this idea of what we leave behind, you know, and we've worked here with authenticity, speaking our truth. You know, to have a legacy, we need to fully embody not just the reproductive system in terms of our children, you know, and that being part of our legacy, but also, you know, that voice, that ability to speak our truth, so that we have something tangible that we can leave, you know, that's our legacy. So that's the whole picture. So you can just hold over the base of the skull if you're lying down, if it's comfortable to do so. And again, that kind of reproductive area. I'm going to support the adrenals at the back as well. And then just start by taking a few nice deep breaths. Balancing the thalamus on all levels, body, mind, spirit, so that we have healthier rhythms and healthier motivation, bringing in the wisdom of the adrenals to support this. Connecting that into the reproductive system. And this idea of legacy. And really balancing that on all levels. So balancing it with our rhythms in life, with our wisdom. That's fabulous. Well done. You can relax your hands. That part is complete. I'm now working with an archetype, an inner archetype. So this is relates to the planet Mercury, and planet Mercury is all about communication, but it's how we embody that energy of communication, you know, that inner archetype that we're interested in here. And what's coming up is anxiety. So some kind of anxiety around communication. So this may be, you know, the theme that we're working with around speaking our truth, about being authentic, you know, perhaps some of the childhood memories and things that relate to that. So we're going to work with this from an archetypal point of view now. And then again, linking it into the throat chakra. So I invite you to place your hand over the throat again. And this time around misunderstanding, you know, so this sense of the anxiety that's caused when we feel misunderstood, when we feel not heard, when we feel not supported in our communication, perhaps, you know, the misunderstanding there in terms of what we're actually saying and how that's actually being heard, and what that can activate in the body mind. So we're working to heal this, particularly within the inner archetypes, those inner voices of how we hear things and see things, but also within the throat chakra, this sense of kind of being misunderstood. And it's then linking into an external energy, and the external energy is relationships. So particularly loved ones, friends, people close to us, you know, when we feel misunderstood, when we feel misheard, you know, which is something that's gone on quite a lot over recent years, that polarization of beliefs, you know, particularly when we speak our truth. You know, when we stand in our authenticity, sometimes that's not received so well, and that can bring misunderstanding and anxiety. So we're working to unwind this from the system, particularly the throat chakra, because it's creating some blockage and perhaps fear around actually wanting to speak here. So just placing the hand over the throat chakra, and again, working together to unwind this from the system, starting with the Mercury archetype of anxiety around communication, and particularly unwinding this from the throat chakra. You can just feel it. It's almost like funneling out of the throat chakra into the ether, where it dissolves into the light around your being. This sense of misunderstanding that's being held there, perhaps stopping us from wanting to speak. We're unwinding that as well. Because if we hold this energy of like, I'm not going to speak because I'm going to be misunderstood, then the chances are that when we speak, we will be misunderstood. So it's clearing this out, unwinding this from the throat chakra. And particularly unwinding these kind of external energy of relationships. So we're disassociating perhaps all those misunderstandings we've had with family members, friends, you know, when we do speak our truth. We're disassociating all of this energy from the throat chakra. Unwinding it all. Feeling it funneling out, leaving your body. You don't need to hold this anymore. Perhaps this is not even your energy. You know, sometimes when there is a misunderstanding, confrontation, we take things on. It can make us feel choked. It's not even our energy. It's energy that's been projected at us. So allowing this to leave your body mind through the throat chakra. Okay. So that's complete. I do hope that you've enjoyed the throat chakra session today. Do watch out for the other chakra sessions. All can be found on my YouTube channel, so please do subscribe. And if you did relate to the session today, then do look out for other things that I'm doing, other classes, workshops, or one-to-one healing sessions. You know, I'm very happy to work with you on a one-to-one level, unblocking the throat chakra, if this is something that resonated with you. My name's Sarah Chave. Looking forward to connecting with you again soon. Many blessings.